of you.
Right. Rabbi Say, welcome back to Yerushalmi Bikkurim. Welcome back to Yerushalmi Bikkurim. We are Sheni Halacha Beis. We are talking about equivalent dinim which are similar between Bikkurim, Truma, Masechet. Now, first we'll talk about Bikkurim and Masechet and the things that don't apply to Truma. So Yesh B'Maseh or Bikkurim, you have something dinim which apply Masechet and Bikkurim, Masha Ein B'Truma, which does not apply to Truma. What? Shamasa Bikkurim Tunin Havas Malkan. You're allowed to use them after you brought them to Yerushalmi. Masechet Bikkurim has to go to Yerushalmi. Or to Unin Vidui. And there's a whole Vidui Masa which is said at Mincha of the 7th day of Pesach in year 4 and year 7 of the cycle. The person said, I've kept all the laws of Trumas, all the laws of Maasros, I've taken them out of my house. That's the whole Vidui Masa. Right? It's not really a Vidui of someone who's done an Avera, but it's someone, I've kept everything properly. It's a declaration, really. Okay? So there we are. So they require this declaration. But Asurin la'ainei, and an ainen la'aleinu before Kvura is not allowed to eat them. Rav Shimon argues he allows a Cohen who's an ainen to eat Bikkurim. Okay. So let's see now. B'chayavin b'biur, right? Masechet Bikkurim, you have to remove them, right? And Pesach of year 4 and year 7, you have to remove them from your domain. You have to do the mitzvah biur. That's the Zman min HaTorah. The Chachamim said you should do it already Erev of Yom Tov Rishon of Pesach. Okay? Either, remember there's two ways of biur. Either it's from your house, you give it to people who are entitled to it. The Aniyim get their Maser Ani, etc. Right? Or the biur is from the world, right? Destroying them. Okay? Now, Rav Shimon Paiter, Rav Shimon says you don't have to remove Bikkurim from biur. You don't have to destroy Bikkurim, whatever. But I think now, if Masechet or Bikkurim went into Yerushalmi, and then they left Yerushalmi, and they got mixed up with chulin, they forbid the whole mixture for eating until you bring that mixture back to Yerushalmi.
That was my question.
You hear that? So if it went into Yerushalmi and then it went out, and then it got in a mixture, it forbids the mixture until it's brought back into Yerushalmi. And then the Kohen, whatever, can eat it, whatever. If it's Bikkurim, it would be the Kohen. Because Yerushalayim, because they've gone into Yerushalayim and you can't redeem it and eat it outside. But Giduleim, now, whatever grows from them, Masechet Bikkurim come into Yerushalayim and then left Yerushalayim and they were sown outside Yerushalayim. These growths, Asurin Menachal, you cannot eat it. Yerushalayim, because they've gone into Yerushalayim and you can't redeem it and eat it outside. Afla Zarim v'Afla Behema. Whether for Israeli animals, Rav Shimon Matin, not the Israeli animals, Rav Shimon Matin. Rav Shimon allows it, the growth of Bikkurim to Israelim, and Gedulei Masechet to animals. Okay, so Rav Shimon allows various things. Now, the idea of Bittul or Bikkurim, you need usually 100 times against it. Masechet, you only need a rove against it. Right, this bittul only helps if they got mixed up before they come into Yerushalmi. Once it got mixed up after going into Yerushalmi, it's not botel. As I said, it forbids the mixture of chulin, even the smallest amount. Because you can take it back to Yerushalmi. It's not botel because there is a solution. Take it back to Yerushalmi. Right, and it's called Dovid sheyesh material and afir be'elef lo botel. Right, when something has a solution, then there's no nullification because there is a solution. Just take it back to Yerushalmi. So there's no din of bittul here. Okay. Hare Elu Master. These are the dinim that apply to Masechet and Bikkurim. Masha Ein B'Truma. Now we'll see. So these are what we've spoken about. Does not apply to Truma. Truma is permitted to the Cohen wherever. He doesn't need to say a declaration for it. A Cohen La'aleinu who is an Einen is allowed to eat it. He doesn't have to remove it from the world. It does not forbid the mixture, any mixture. With the smallest amount. There's a din of bittul and so on. How much you need? The gidulim don't asa, even if they go into Yerushalayim, right? The gidulim, whatever. So those dinim don't apply to Truma. Okay. Yeah. Let's see now. the source in the Torah for each of the 4 dinim, what we said. So first of all, the first din in the Mishnah, that Masechet Bikkurim need to be brought to the Beis Hamikdash. Joining the verse marking. Then what are these? So Masechet Sechem is a reference to Maseh Behema, Maseh Sheni. Trumas Yedchem is a reference to Bikkurim, which has got an expression of hand, of yad. He takes the basket from your hand. Right? What about the 4th din in the Mishnah? We said, Masechet Bikkurim, you need to do biur. Chayavin bebir. Dilsib biati HaKodesh min habayis. I've removed the kodesh from the house. Okay? And ad kedun master, that's all very well for Maseh Sheni, that's called Kodesh in the Torah. But Bikkurim inan, how do you know Bikkurim? It says with Biur of Maseh HaKodesh with a hey. So we learn HaKodesh HaElyon. Also the Kodesh referred to before Mashma, that's also included. And that's the Pasha Bikkurim, which was said before this Pasha. So that is also included in the obligation of Biur. Right? It's like what's earlier on, the previous piece. And that's a reference to Bikkurim. Okay. Yeah. Let's carry on. To unin vidoi, we said there's a declaration for Masechet Bikkurim. You should say, I've removed the kodesh from the house. And kedon, that's all very well for Maseh Sheni. It's called Kodesh. Bikkurim inayin. How do we know they also have the vidoi with Bikkurim? It says HaKodesh. Again, we learn Ha'eliyah Mashma that includes the previous Pasha, which is Bikkurim as well. So Bikkurim is included in the mitzvah Biur, and therefore we should say the same thing with Vidoi Master as well. Since it says HaKodesh, we learn Bikkurim, which is said in the previous Pasha, is included in the Vidoi. Okay? Now, Vasurin, now what about the 3rd din in the Mishnah? Vasurin la'aynein, an aynein is not allowed to have Masechet Bikkurim. The Chassid says, La'achalti ba'aynein mimenu. I didn't eat from Maseh when I was an aynein, because it says Mimenu is talking about HaKodesh, which is talking about the pasuk before, which was Maseh Sheni, and Einen can't eat Maseh Sheni. And when he says a video and he says he kept all the dinim, then also he's saying that he was not over on the is of eating it baninus. Ad kadon, that's all very well Maseh Sheni. Bikkurim inayin. How do you know Bikkurim is also asatun Einen? HaKodesh, again, the same Joshua we had before. HaKodesh earlier Mashma. So HaKodesh is going, anything here is going on what's earlier on as well. And Bikkurim is also included in Kodesh. Therefore, the Issa Achila with Einain, with Maseh Sheni, applies to Bikkurim as well. All 3 dinim are learnt. Biur, Chavas Bidoi, and the Issa Achila to Einain apply with Bikkurim. The Bavli learns this one from another drosha. Right? The Bavli learns another source, the Biur and Issa Achila for Einain apply with Bikkurim, because the Torah compares Bikkurim to Maseh Sheni. It says you shouldn't eat. Yeah, you cannot eat in your gates. Right, it's in Yivamas and Gimel. And Trumas Yadcha is reference to Bikkurim. So we learn from the connection of Hekesh, the Chil Biur of Anisar Achil of Einain, mentioned Maseh Sheni applies to Bikkurim as well. Yerushalmi doesn't dash on that because it says you can't earn a Hekesh with something which is not written in the pasuk itself. Okay. Let's carry on. Tinina. Now we said from that drasha we learned the Chil Biur, Vidoi, and Isar Achil of Einain is not only with Maseh but also Bikkurim. Tinina, we've learned Kali Lemelai. We learned all these dinim and Rav Shimon Palik. Rav Shimon argues, and he holds Chil Biur and Isar Achila wasn't said only for Maseh, not for Bikkurim. So in some dinim he says get a different din with Bikkurim, and yet with Vidoi less Rav Shimon Palik, and in Vidoi he doesn't argue. The Mishnah doesn't bring his opinion about it. It sounds like he agrees. So 1 minute he either holds the drasha or he doesn't. He seems to hold of it for some dinim and not for all of them. How can you tell me they all learn from the same drasha and he argues on some of it and agrees with some of it? How does that work? If he agrees to the drasha, he should apply it to all of them. So the Gemara answers, Vidoi, the Vidoi mentioned in the Mishnah with Bikkurim, Zukriya. That's reading the Pasha Bikkurim. Anyone who brings it has to read it. That's also called a Vidoi. But less Rav Shimon Palik, and this Vidoi, Rav Shimon doesn't argue. And that reading of the Pasha Bikkurim is called Vidoi. The Chassid says, Vanisa Mamati, you should answer and say, before Hashem Elakacha. Vanisa is a nusach, it's like telling a story. When you say, before Hashem Elakacha, it's like a Teras Vidoi. We find that Lashon also similarly with Vidoi's Master. Therefore, Rav Shimon doesn't really argue on what's written about the Mishnah. It says that it needs a Vidoi. because the Mishnah is talking about reading the Parsha of Bikkurim, and that also has a Parsha. Okay? We said they would forbid a mixture. Remember, if they went into Yerushalmi and then they came out, and they made a mixture, they forbid the mixture. You cannot eat Masechet Bikkurim once they go into Yerushalmi and then they go out and they mix up with Chulin. They forbid the mixture Yerushalmi because they went into Yerushalmi. It's not permitted, and unless it comes back to Yerushalmi. With Shimon Matir, with Shimon allows you to eat it outside. But Gizuleyan, when the growths of Masechet Bikkurim that went into Yerushalmi and came out, they were sown outside Yerushalmi, they grew. Asurim Elaycha. You cannot eat the growth but Yerushalmi because they went into Yerushalmi. They're not permitted unless they go back. With Shimon Matir, Shimon allows you to eat it outside. V'af lezarim, and also give Bikkurim to Israelim. V'af lebehema, and give Masechet to animals. With Shimon Matir, with Shimon permits it. Yeah. Okay. Now, what is the Makar for the Pshat of the Mishnah? First, we'll look at Shimon. First of all, he allows the growths of Bikkurim to Israelim and growths of Masechet to animals. So let's see, what's the Chachamim's view? The Chachamim agrees with Shimon that whenever the growths are permitted, the heter is for Israelim as well. So according to the Chachamim, Masechet and Bikkurim, they were sown before they went into Yerushalmi, then they are permitted their growths even to Israelim, like growths of Masechet, which has not yet gone into Yerushalmi, then Israelim are allowed to have the growths of those Masechet. The Chacham agrees with Shimon, for the fact that he asked them a question, and he said, do you not agree the growths of Bikkurim, where they've never gone into Yerushalmi, Shein Mutarin, that they are permitted, even with Achila Lezarim, for Israelim outside Yerushalmi? Do you not agree that they're permitted, even to Zarim outside if they've never gone in? And do you not agree, growths of Masechet has never gone in? Animals are allowed to eat growths of Masechet outside Yerushalmi. So why do you forbid Masechet growths and Bikkurim once they've gone into Yerushalmi and come out? Why do you forbid it? Yesh mechitza. Is there such a thing of going outside the walls of Yerushalmi, forbidding Bikkurim for Israelim? La'achil hazarim. Yesh mechitza. Is there a din of going outside the walls, forbidding Masechet for animals? La'achil behema. Kishem she'ein mechitza lezarim. There's no wall that forbids things for Israelim. So also, it's always forbidden. Kach ein mechitza la'achil behema. There's no going away outside a wall forbidding Masechet for animals, because la'olam is also for animal eating. So why do you want to ask the growths of Bikkurim Masechet which went in Yerushalmi and came out, and you don't forbid it when it never went in? Yeah, you want to forbid the growths when it went in and came out, but you don't want to forbid it when it never came in. So why should that be? The truth is, they say here, there's a lot of lengthy words in this, he says here. The question is clear. He says, do you not agree that growths of Bikkurim as mutter to Zorim, and they're mutter to animals if it's not gone in Yerushalmi? He could have said it in less words. Whether I guess that fits in with that, whatever. So what's the answer? Let's see what they say back to him. Rabbanan Amri, but the Chachamim said back, they said Masechet and Bikkurim, which is permitted in Yerushalmi, is permitted eating in Yerushalmi also. So we treat it if sheyesh lehem matir, davar sheyesh lehem matirin. It's like where there's a solution for the issur. You can go and take it back to Yerushalmi, so there's a way out. Therefore, Kamada Tema, just like we say, Davar sheyesh lehem matirin, when something is permitted, Davar sheyesh lehem matirin, it will be permitted. So if it got mixed up, I say it forbids a mixture, even kosher, even the smallest amount, right? An egg which is laid on Yom Tov is also, right? It might get mixed up with 50 eggs. They're all also. Why? Because after Yom Tov it will be permitted. So we don't rely on bittul now when after Yom Tov will be permitted. So the same thing here. So just like Dav sheyesh lehem matirin, I say kosher, the same thing, that which is permitted in Yerushalmi, they got mixed up beheta, I say would forbid a mixture even if it got mixed up kosher, even the smallest amount, because you can eat it in Yerushalmi. So why rely on bittul when you can eat it in Yerushalmi? Yeah? But this is only if it's gone into Yerushalmi and came out. Now, what is the difference then if it never went in? Why should that be different? You're telling me, well, if it's outside Yerushalmi, it's a meter outside. Well, don't rely on bittul, take it back in. But what happens if it never went in? Why is it we're relying on bittul then? If it never went in, we say no. Although, yes, you could take it to Yerushalmi. It might be you're standing here, Ivy. You're standing a meter outside the walls. You never went into Yerushalmi. You're standing a meter outside the walls. And then we say bittul. And yet, once you go in, we don't say bittul. So what's the difference? The Chachamim treat growth of Masechet Bikkurim like a mixture of Masechet Bikkurim and Chulin. They forbid the growth when it's gone into Yerushalmi. At the end of the day, it's tircha, it's a bother. Yes, you have to bring it in. It's a bother to get it to Yerushalmi. Once it's got there, it's come out, just take it back. But I suppose the idea generally, you might be far away. The tircha to Yerushalmi, to get you to take it there is a long way. Now, it's all very well that this Dovid sheyesh material, why we forbid the growth for Kohenim, for Bikkurim, or people Masechet, because they're mutter after they'll come back to Yerushalmi. Now, why they forbade it, the growth to Zorim, let's say to Bikkurim, that will never be permitted, even if... Now, it's all very well, when you take it back to Yerushalmi, Kohenim can eat it. But Yisraelim can never eat it. Say Bikkurim, they got mixed up. They could never eat it. So why don't we say bittul for them? You hear that? It's all very well saying, well, you can bring it back to Yerushalmi. Yeah, but then the Kohenim can eat it. But Yisraelim can never eat it. You have to say, because by taking it to Yerushalmi, someone will be permitted, the Kohenim will be able to have it. It's treated as Dovid sheyesh material, even as far as animals and Yisraelim as well. That's what you have to say, even though Yisraelim won't be able to eat it. All right, let's carry on. Now, discussion between Rishim and Rabbanan. Ma'apligin, what's the argument of Rishim and Rabbanan? Begudulin, with growth. Our be'erevin, if you've got a mixture, Rishim and Moed, Rishim agrees, the smallest amount forbids the mixture. Therefore, he answered to them only as far as growth and taruvas, but not a mixture. Ma'abein erevin, ma'abein gedulin. What's the difference between mixture and gedulin, growth? Erevin, ba'ainin hen. When it's a mixture, the original thing is still there. It's still there. But gidulin, but growth, the original one has already been nullified. You've only got what grew out of it. Therefore, the gidulin, when it's something new, there's no reason to forbid it. That which we said, Rishim agrees to the Chacham with a mixture, that is only be'eruve maser, mixtures of Masechet. And be'eruve Bikkurim, mixtures of Bikkurim, he does not agree. Right? He holds Gidulin. They are permitted like new growths with Bikkurim. As we learned, Bikkurim going into Yerushalmi does not. Does not forbid a mixture or the growth from eating it once because it's left Yerushalmi. He doesn't forbid when it comes to the growth of Bikkurim. So what's the difference? Why is there a difference then between the mixture of Masechet and Bikkurim? Why is there a difference? So he says, Masechet, which got mixed up with Chulin, Aliyah. There's no Masechet get mixed up with Chulin. You don't have to separate out what fell in. Right? You don't have to lift out of the mixture the amount that fell in. Bikkurim, mixed up with Chulin, Yesh Le'en Aliyah. You have an obligation to take out from the mixture the amount that fell in. And Rav Shimon holds, when you've taken it out, the share that fell in, we treat it as no longer mixed up with the Bikkurim at all, and therefore you can eat it like Chulin. Whereas Truvas and Masechet, since you're not taking any out, the Masechet is still inside, and therefore it is osur. So we see from the fact that Rav Shimon agrees to the Chachamim, so he agrees with Masechet, something where you don't take it out. It's still be'en, it forbids the mixture. And Rav Shimon agrees to the Chachamim, but when with Bikkurim you did take one out, yeah, for the sake of Bikkurim, let's say you had 100 of Chulin, and one of Bikkurim fell in, and you picked one up. You have to take that within the walls of Yerushalmi, and you have to get benefit from it. Don't allow it to rot outside Yerushalmi. We treat it as proper Bikkurim. So that one you've separated out of the mixture, treat it as Bikkurim. Rabbanan the Chacham said, all the 101 in the mixture are forbidden. So they all have to go within the walls, and you have to make sure you get benefit from all of them. Don't allow it to rot before you take it to Yerushalmi. Now I bring a story about a din of our Mishnah about growths of Bikkurim and Masechet. So let's see the story here. Rabbi Yochanan, he comes to a place. He said, I'm not Ben Azai Dahacha. I'm like Ben Azai in this place. Any question you want to ask, I will answer. Imagine as if Ben Azai was here. So what happens? An elder comes and asks him the following contradiction. And the elder said, we've learned, this is his question now. The elder says that we've learned in Trumas, Gidule Truma, growths of Truma are Truma. And Gidule, and you went and sown those growths back in the ground. The new growths is Chulin. And the Mishnah mentions other Isurim which are different from Truma. Avol Teva, and Maser Sheni, and Maser Rishon, where you hadn't separated Trumas Maser from it. Sviche Shviz, the extra growth to grow during Shemitah. Of Trumas Chuzlaretz, B'Hamaduma, a mixture of Truma and Chulin, B'Bikkurim, or Bikkurim, all these, if they were sown in the ground, Gidulem Chulin, the growth that grow are Chulin and permitted. Tamar, in Trumas we say, you said the growth of Maser Sheni and Bikkurim is permitted, Mutarin. But Hacha, in our Mishnah in Bikkurim, at Amar Gidulei and Asurin, you're saying the growths are forbidden. So are the growths forbidden or are they permitted? Right? He learned in the Mishnah, Gidulei and Asurin, you can't eat the growth, Yerushalmi. Sounds like they're asked to eat because you are chayav to eat in Yerushalmi, and all growths of Bikkurim Masechet is like the main thing where they came from. It's also to eat outside Yerushalmi, like Bikkurim Masechet. So that goes against the Mishnah of Trumas, which says growth of Bikkurim is like Chulin. Okay, so what's the problem? Why is there a problem? So Rabbi Yochanan answers back to the elder. Under the table, we said Gidulei, and the growth of Bikkurim is Mutarin, is permitted. That's B'Dovid Shazarikala. Something which disintegrates. The seed disintegrates into the ground before the new growths grow up. And therefore, there's nothing tangible of the original Bikkurim here. And therefore it's permitted. But hard to say with that which we said, Gidulei and Asurin, the growths of Bikkurim are forbidden, but the seed does not disintegrate before the new growths come out. Right? The main thing lasts and the growths are gathering together, and therefore there's a mamoshas of Bikkurim, Masechet, and that's why it's also. So it depends what seeds we're talking about, does it disintegrate or not? So the elder said back to Yochanan, but we learned in Trumas, what sort of things the seed doesn't disintegrate? You go in haluf ashum abasalim, takes of onions and garlic. Haluf ashum abasalim. Now wait a minute. Hayavim b'Bikkurim. Are you chai Bikkurim in these things? You're not. How can you say our Mishnah is talking about growth that grew from something which the seed didn't disappear? Bikkurim, Bikkurim is only coming from the minim from where the seeds do disappear. So it doesn't come from things like onions and garlic and so on. So the elder saw that Rav Yochanan wasn't answering his question. He said, I don't think you're Ben Azai, my friend. Azai Ben Azai Da'acha. He's come from this place. You are not great like Ben Azai. Wow. You are not great like Ben Azai. Asa Shah, Rav Yochanan asked the question to Rav Yanai, his teacher. Rav Yanai said, the words of the Mishnah, the growths are also the Maser Hushva. The growths are forbidden as far as Masechet it was said. And therefore, the Mishnah is not talking only with Davar She'ein Zarin Kala. The Mishnah was only talking, we can explain it the way you wanted to answer. We're only talking about things where the seeds do not disappear. Now, Rav Yochanan was quiet, huh?
So you're saying rather Bikkurim would be allowed.
Yeah, so
Masechet is saying
Maser is different. Yeah, Masechet, Maser Hushva. Masechet was only said the growths are forbidden. And it's talking about a case where the seed carries on. Now, Rav Yochanan was quiet when he heard this. It sounds like he agrees. So he wants to wait a minute. If he agrees to what he just said, we've got a problem. Then the view of Rav Yochanan here goes against his view elsewhere. Tama. Now, in Kalim, the Mishnah there says, Perak Aleph Halacha base, the Mishnah base, it says, if you carry a dead animal, a nevela, Or you carry the red heifer water, mechatas, and you've got the amount which is fitting for sprinkling. Then you and your clothes become tamei if you carry it. But if you touch it, you are tamei, but not your clothes. If you touch it, you become a rishon. And that's not enough to even tamei the clothes that you're wearing at that time. Rav Shua Levi. And Rav Shua Levi said, the last words of the Mishnah, Lekana sham nevela hushva, they were only said as far as, let's say, carrying the horn of nevela, but not as far as other limbs, or not as far as the red heifer waters. So this din was only said as far as the nevela, that one who carries it, then everything is tamei. Touching it is only him and not the clothes. So he said this din, not as far as other things, because with the other things, even if you touch it, your clothes are tamei. Yeah? With the other things, this is again, it was only said as far as nevela, but not by other limbs, because with others, even if you touched it, your clothes are tamei. That's what he wants to say here. 1 minute. He's answering a stira in Kalim, Tosefta, okay. Let's see. Now, but Amar le Rav Yochanan answered back, Loikein Ilfan, did you not teach us that the last wording of the Mishnah is V'chasuche begadim? They stop the clothes from becoming tamei through touching. Basically, chasuche is in plural. So the Mishnah seems to be implying we're talking about two different things, the Shnaim. Two situations of tumah mentioned in the first part of the Mishnah. There's nevela and the mechatas. That has enough for sprinkling. Now, from what you're saying now, the Mishnah is talking about nevela on its own, but why did it use the plural expression if we're only talking about nevela? Right? He said it's in plural. It can't be only nevela, it must be talking about other things. Right? You shouldn't use a lashon rabbim if you're only talking about one thing. But now, if that's what Rabbi Yochanan said there, so he didn't like the use of plural when you're talking about one thing. So the same thing here. Now Rabbi Yochanan should also say here, it says in our Mishnah, V'gidulein, their growths are forbidden. In the plural, must be two things, talking about Bikkurim and Masechet. And yet, Rabbi Yochanan agrees with Rabbi Yanai, he said, well, he's talking about Masechet. But it's in plural, it should be plural, it should be applied to both. That's a very good question on Rabbi Yochanan. So he says here in the notes, so the contradiction comes back. If you touch a nevela or mechatas, you're going to move it, you're going to be tamei avatuma, you'll be metamei your clothes like the Tosefta, and the Mishnah in Kalim says you're not metamei your clothes. So Mari Korkus wants to say that the din in the Mishnah is where the skin of nevela mechatas, which are maybe hardened, and by touching it, you're not necessarily moving them. They're like ice. Therefore, it's not an avatuma. But the Tosefta, where it says you're automatically going to move it, is like a skin of an animal mechatas, which is not hardened. You definitely move it by touching it. It becomes an avatuma. All right, let's carry on. Now, Rav Yana explained that the din of the Mishnah that growths are also is only with Masechet where the seeds are still around. And Rav Yochanan can't really hold this, the Gemara said. The Gemara we're going to ask on Rav Yanai. But I'd mean Hada, we're going to ask on Rav Yanai because it says, you cannot eat outside Yerushalmi, Masa de Gancha. But Ezem Masa, what's the tradition of Masa Amr? Where do we say this pasuk? But Masa Sheni HaTahar. Masa Sheni, which is Tahar, Shenichnas Yerushalayim v'yatza. So it's gone into Yerushalayim and it's come out. If it didn't go into Yerushalayim ever, or it came out Tamei, we don't say this Issur. And this pasuk tells me the Issur of eating Masa Sheni outside Yerushalayim. So the Masa, which is made from Degancha, which are seeds which do disappear, and Mishnah, which would forbid, because of this Issur forbidding the mixture and the growths, is also talking about things where the seeds disappear. And it's not like Rabbi Yanai, who said we're talking about things where the seed does not disappear, because it seems to be we're talking about things Degancha where the seeds do disappear. And furthermore, from this price of the Tani we learned Rav Shimon, Rav Shimon, Yesh b'Masa, there are dinim that apply to Masa Sheni and not with Truma. Masa Sheni, I said Damav, it forbids its value for redemption, right? The money when the money you use to buy Masechet gets Kedushas Masechet, right? That's what happens. So you have to take the money to Yerushalmi and buy food with it, yeah? The money gets the Kedusha off the food. So we see Yesh B'Maseh, Shamasa, Damav, it forbids the mixture, if the money takes Kedusha, Ve'eruvav, and any mixture of it, V'Kankanav, and any containers where the Kankanim are bottled to the Masechet which is inside, they get Kedushas Masechet in certain cases, right? Okay, and also even Safek, you got a Safek Yeruva with a mixture, Koshu, it forbids a mixture. If you use a Safek, a tiny bit got mixed up in Chulin, whole mixture is forbidden. You can't use it for fuel or for light candle. So all these dinim apply with Masechet and don't apply with Truma. Now the Brisa says, if you got a Safek, if it got mixed up Masechet, it forbids the whole mixture. Why don't we say the same thing with growth of Masechet? Right? We're not going to be machmir with a Safek of mixture, Koshu, Masechet, more than the growth of a seed which has not disappeared. Basically, the Brisa forbids the Safek, this mixture. If it's got a Safek, it may have got in a mixture. So it will forbid growths where the seeds are even if the seeds have disappeared, you should still forbid the growths, basically. And therefore, the Mishnah that forbids growth of Masechet, it could probably mean growth even where the seeds have disappeared, it'll still be forbidden. And not like Rav Yana, right? Rav Yana wanted to say, it's only talking about the seeds which don't disappear. But we're saying, no, if you forbid the growth, you forbid all these things, you'll forbid the growth even if the seed does disappear. So the Gemara actually pushes away the answer of Yanai and says Rav Hila explains differently the stereo between the Mishnais and the din of Masechet and Bikkurim. Rav Hila, Hans the Tema that which he says Gidulei and Asurin, the growth of Bikkurim is forbidden, is Rabbanan. And Hans the Tema that which he says in Trumas Gidulei and Mutarin, the growth of permitted is Rav Shimon. So there's actually different views, right, whether the growths are forbidden or not. Ruling. The Chacham answers back to Rav Hila. But in Inan, with the last part of the Mishnah in Trumas, it says, Gidulei Hekdesh, or Masechet, right, Chulin, the din is like Chulin, growth of Hekdesh, and Masechet is like Chulin, or Paida Aisan, you have to redeem them based on the value of Bizman Chazaran when you sowed them, right, at the time when you sowed it. Now, why are you redeeming it? It's because of the Kedusha. Had they have no Kedusha, you wouldn't redeem it. It must be there's holiness here. So here is when our Mishnah. Growth of Masechet, Yitzanu Mechitza. They should require bringing within the walls Bivnei Kedusha Sheyesh Bahen, because the Kedusha they have. Why is Rav Shimon allowing you to eat it outside Yerushalmi? It must be the Mishnah in Trumas wasn't according to his view. It's like the Tanakhama in our Mishnah. So the question comes back. Our Mishnah says the Tanakhama forbid the growth of Masechet, and there it says the growths are permitted. So Gemara brings another answer to explain the stira. Rav Yemi and Rav Yemi Shem Shlokish. When we say the growth of Bikkurim, Gidulei and Asurin, it's talking about Issa Mechitza. Because they've come into Yerushalmi and they've gone out, the growths are forbidden if they've not been brought back in. And they're only permitted if they never actually went into Yerushalmi. So again, it's this idea they've come in. Once they come in, they are also, if they go out, they become also. Right? He says, growths of Bikkurim Masechet are like a mixture of the other Isurim. The growths are also to eat outside Yerushalmi. If Bikkurim Masechet had already gone into Yerushalmi and come out, again, Dovid Shesh Material is not bottle. Alright. The Tema, that which we say, Gidulei Mutarin, in Trumas the growths are permitted, that is Hetzazoros. The growths of Bikkurim which went to Yerushalmi and went out, and then afterwards came back, they're permitted with Israelim. And growths of Masechet that will come in and go out are permitted to be given to the animals. So we're talking about the Hetzazoros here. The growths of Bikkurim which went to Yerushalmi and went out and then came back in, they are permitted for Israelim. Okay. Now these didn't apply, we said, with Masa and Bikkurim. Mashain came with Truma, as opposed to Truma. Now one of the differences we said is this declaration, the Vidui, which applies to Masechet and Bikkurim, but not with Truma. Taman Tanina, in Masechet we've learned with Vidui Masechet, V'gam Netativ, V'gam, we learn Zu Truma, Trumas Masa, I've given Trumas Masa. So there is a Vidui and Truma. Taman, in Masechet, Atama Truma to Una Vidui, You say there is a declaration for Truma, but here you say Truma into a vidui. Amar Rabbi Tani Tamar, we learned that in the Brisa, Masechet and Bikkurim, Echad and whether you give it, and then you take them to Udin vidui. You need a declaration. Truma is only if you give it. Naisna, the owner that separates it, Ton vidui, has to make a declaration. But Naidla, the one who takes it, the Cohen, ain't Ton vidui. He does not have to say vidui. So our Mishnah is talking about a vidui of the taker. So it says the one who takes Masechet Bikkurim needs a vidui. The Cohen who takes Truma, doesn't. The one who Noitel doesn't take say a vidui. The Mishnah Masechet is the vidui of the giver, not the taker, but the giver. And the Truma Masechet, therefore it says the one who gives Truma needs to say vidui. Rav Zira gives another answer. Rav Zira, Rabbanu Dahachin Amrin, the Chachamim here in Bavel. They said, Mishi Yeshlei Maseh B'fnei Atzmai. If you have Masechet on his own, Mizvadeh, you say vidui. Or if you only have Bikkurim. But if you have Truma on its own, Mishi Yeshlei Truma B'fnei Atzmai, ain't a Mizvadeh. You don't say vidui. The vidui is not chal only on the Truma. It's going to be on something else. Whereas Mishneh Masechet is talking about a person on his mistress, and because of that vidui, you include Truma as well. Truma, you can't have a vidui on its own. If you're saying on Masechet, you also include the vidui on Truma as well. But not Truma on its own. Rabbi Yossi, Rabbi Yossi Masnisa Amrakei. The Mishnah says this. We learned Rabbi Yossi. Rabbi Yossi said, "Kainim Elavim can say vidui because Yesh Lehen Arei Migdash. They have their cities of refuge. Remember the 48 cities the Levim had, and Kainim also had some. Man Akiyom. What are we talking about? What vidui is it? Truma Maseh, Truma and Maseh, and therefore they're saying they give vidui. They did vidui. That can't be. Truma Maseh Rishon they separate. They keep it. Shalayim. They don't have to give it to anyone else. Right? Even this one bill, they don't have to remove it from the house. And therefore, there's no vidui shaykh. The vidui is only when you have the mitzvah bill, mistress, and the mistress doesn't stay in your house. Ella, kiyanan kayamin. What are we talking about? The Masechet Bikkurim. The vidui of a Cohen is Masechet Bikkurim. These, he has to remove them from his world at the time of bill. And since Rabbi Yossi is Machai the Cohen to say a vidui because of his chiyuv to remove the Masechet Bikkurim, so also someone who has Masechet Bikkurim on their own and hasn't got Truma, he still has to say this vidui declaration, and that's the way Rav Zira explained it. Rav Hillel said, Rav Hillel now pushes this away. He says, Shemana, look, we've learned in the Mishnah, Mish Yeshle Maseh B'fnei Atzmai. You got Maseh on its own, fair enough. Mizvada. Mish Yeshle Bikkurim B'fnei Atzmai. Mizvada. Okay, you just forgot Bikkurim? Fine, you say the declaration. However, Shemanon, have we ever learnt? Mish Yeshle Truma B'fnei Atzmai Eina Mizvada. We never said there's no vidui for Truma. There's no raya for the Mishnah. Don't bring a raya for the Mishnah from Zira. The main chiddush here, that on Truma there's no vidui. I mean, maybe not. There's no raya from the Mishnah to what Rav Zira is saying. Okay?
What if you only had Bikkurim?
If you only had Bikkurim, it could be there's a vidui. But, see, Rav Zira wanted to say, Maseh on his own, vidui. Truma on his own, don't say vidui. So he's saying, who says? There's no raya. We can't bring a raya for the Mishnah to Rav Zira. The main din is, on Truma you don't say. So he says here, he proves from the Mishnah like Zero. He wasn't worried about the question. He held, look, it doesn't say clearly that you can say vidui on Truma on its own. So the main thing is, maybe you can't do it. He says the reason is, the nusach of vidui, you're mentioning all the matanos kohuna. So you're giving a vidui on the matanos, not on some of them. The Mishnah says that there are exceptions, where you can say vidui on them on their own. And that's Masechet Bikkurim. But don't apply that to other matanos. It could be only on them they have this chiddush, that they have a vidui on its own. Okay. To be continued, Rabbi Sai.